Let's go! In this video, we're breaking down how to win races in GTA 5 Online by focusing on 3 winning keys, which are number 1, driving skills, number 2, pro racing setups, and number 3, top vehicles on land, sea, and air. And as a bonus, at the end of the video, we will share something almost nobody talks about. But it's actually one of the most important things if you want to become a real winner. So stick around and don't forget to subscribe to this new channel while we wait for the arrival of GTA 6. Let's start with driving skills. First up, the starting boost. We all know every race begins with the countdown, 3, 2, 1, and go. That's the exact moment to hit the gas. Other players might miss the turbo, so it's best to start slightly to the side to avoid crashing and losing momentum. Sometimes it's tricky to hit the gas at the perfect time, but here's a neat trick. Keep the brake pressed down the whole time, and as soon as go appears, just release it and accelerate. You'll even see a tiny backward push before the boost kicks in, but the turbo will activate perfectly. Now that we've taken the lead, it's crucial to keep up a strong pace. That takes us to the curb boost. By zigzagging over curbs or track edges, we gain extra acceleration. Combine this with clean racing lines and the performance boost is massive. Clean racing lines means braking and accelerating at just the right time, anticipating the turn and adjusting your line. Walls can help us avoid losing speed, but be careful. If there are joints or edges, you might get stuck. In city races, sidewalks work just like curbs. They'll also give you speed and extra space to adjust your line, which is super helpful for tight corners and staying ahead in any type of race. Even with vehicles that are harder to control, anticipation is everything. Read the curve ahead of time, and you'll dominate the vehicle and easily take the lead. Especially in competitive races like Formula 1, the key is overtaking on the inside of corners. Keeping your lines as fast and controlled as possible. And now comes the fun part. Once you start overtaking, other racers will chase you down. This is where slipstream comes in. Just like in real racing, it's that airflow tunnel created behind a car, letting the one behind accelerate faster. That's why it's important to hold the lead and position yourself wisely when rivals try to overtake you. Until we consider that it is convenient, we can let them overtake us, with the objective of taking advantage of the slipstream one last time, helping us to boost ourselves towards the finish line when we know that we are already close and we begin to see it on the mini-map. From that point, it's all about defending your position and keeping maximum speed. game has some physics that we can take advantage of to reach more speed, making certain maneuvers like wall rides and zigzag in tubes. As we see, these techniques give us an extra boost and allow us to overtake rivals with total ease. Sometimes they are done in tubes and other times on vertical or curved surfaces. They require some practice, but knowing how to dominate the wall rides, they are very useful. Another great maneuver are the loops in tubes, which also help us reach maximum speeds. But watch out with the curves after them. Good handling is required not to lose control. Many tubes push us into the loop naturally, so it is a matter of knowing the track well and practicing these stunts, which can help us a lot, especially when we head toward the jumps. To dominate the jumps, we have 3 types of movement: up and down, sideways, and spins, which require us to press the handbrake to be able to do them. And thus, combining these 3 movements, we can do all kinds of maneuvers in the air. This comes perfect for us in certain types of races and tracks with very irregular terrain or with big inclination. Besides obstacles that can make it really complicated, like when we bounce on a hot air balloon, for example. It is also important to mention that in different tracks, it will be very useful to make short jumps. Some even know them as shortcuts, since they can make us save time and put us ahead on many occasions. On the other hand, there will be some races in which a good jump and going over everything will be our salvation and the best option to be able to advance. There are also insane stunt races that are completely designed to perform aerial maneuvers boosting with turbos. As for GTA skills and physics, there is such a variety that we could make an exclusive video on this topic. Let us know in the comments if you would like us to see it in more detail and include other advanced techniques. And before moving on with the second winning key, we get on the bikes to talk about some tips. Just like wheelies, leaning back while jumping allows us to gain more speed. Sometimes with a slight tilt, it will be enough to take the lead. And other times we can literally fly, achieving such incredible speeds that we will break time records, although controlling this really is a true challenge. We can also take advantage of short jumps and some intermediate jumps. The important thing is to take care of stability to get that extra boost and stay in the lead. And now, let's go with the second winning key. According to our language, we have the basic settings. And if we go into additional options, we will see that catch-up appears almost always activated. This causes that when we are leading, our vehicles reduce their speed, giving the opportunity to those annoying players to reach us and crash into us not only once, but many more times in the same race, until they go completely out of control and we can move away. We know this is GTA and chaos can also be part of the fun, but if what we want are epic victories, catch-up is just an additional obstacle, especially in long races with many straights where the speed drops feel brutal. So the advice is disable the catch-up function. Once we do it, we will see how things change. We will have super elegant races, and even if they try, it will no longer be so easy for them to crash into us. Then from here begins the true competition, and the most important thing will be our driving skill and the real power of the vehicles. And now with our tuned cars, we go to the LS Club, where we can win exclusive vehicles every week. We just have to approach with these friends to activate the competition list, among which stand out the street races. These races have settings similar to the others, although they present certain differences that we can take advantage of. One of the keys are the shortcuts, which we'll see on the mini-map as alternative checkpoints in different circuits. Taking these shortcuts can give us an advantage on many occasions, but they require a lot of precision since they are usually narrow passages and full of objects we can crash into. Another key is cutting corners. Let's take as a reference this cube and compare with a traditional race. We see that in the same place and at the same distance. In a street race, we can take the checkpoint, while in the traditional one, we cannot. So in these races, we can optimize the tracings with these cuts, getting excellent lap times. And these are some details that will make the difference between simply racing and knowing how to dominate the streets. Continuing with Los Santos Car Meet, we have the HSW upgrades. These, as we know, are special modifications available only for certain vehicles, and we can install them with our colleague Hao, who will help us enhance the brakes, the engine, the transmission, and the turbo, taking our cars to the next level of speed and acceleration. In some races, like the stunt ones, we will see the option to activate or deactivate these modifications. Of course, this extra power also demands greater control, especially in jumps, since with so much speed, we can go completely off the track. To avoid it, in some cases, it will be enough to release the accelerator just before the jump, and in others, a couple of touches on the brake will be necessary not to go too far nor crash against bridges. In the worst case, we could also go over the finish line and lose the race at the last moment. The key then is to know the tracks and regulate the speed in the jumps and critical points. In city races, it is not so common to find ramps or jumps, but it will still be vital to know how to position ourselves and control the speed correctly. We also have the exclusive HSW races, where different categories of vehicles can be combined, and knowing how to choose is fundamental, since some will have advantages depending on the type of circuit, as well as the obstacles and the traffic. And with this, we move to the third winning key: top vehicles. If I had to start from scratch with a garage, I would start with two beasts. The first would be the Devesta 8, with excellent performance and very good price compared with others of its class. And the second, with precise handling and outstanding acceleration, the Ubermatch Niobe. Both have HOW upgrades, and whether or not they are activated, they are cars that stand out in all races. Now, if we want to specialize, let's go with a quick review by category, and starting with the Supers. I definitely recommend the weaponized Ignis with HOW upgrade for its exceptional handling, and without HOW upgrade, I recommend the Torero XO for its excellent speed. It is very useful for tracks with big straights, besides the legendary Krieger with great balance between speed and handling. Continuing with the sports, we have with HOW upgrade the fastest car in the whole game, the Bravado Banshee GTS. And without HOW upgrade the Itali GTO for its fine handling and competitive speed. With respect to the classic sports, I recommend the Grotti Turismo, and for speed, the Sterling GT, both with HOW upgrade. But if I had to stay with one, it would be the Turismo. Now let's see the competitive cars. And for Formula One races, the undisputed one is the BR8 for its incredible aerodynamics. And for the NASCAR or Hot Ring, thanks to the Casino and LS Club, we have them all. But if I had to start with one, it would be the Sabre for its excellent grip on track. For off-road, we also have fast cars, but here stability plays a very important role. That's why I recommend the Camacho, one of the most stable and with better control. Besides, we can get it for a very accessible price. Another alternative with great stability and excellent power is the Drauger. And with HOW upgrade, the Monstrosity gives us very good speed, being useful for less irregular tracks. For rally cars, I recommend the Pinot La Coureuse. With or without HOW upgrade, it is ideal for complicated terrains. Now let's go with the muscles. And with HOW upgrade, I recommend the Buffalo EVX, an electric car with excellent acceleration and quite decent handling. And without HOW upgrade, we have the Bravado Buffalo STX with such precise driving that it almost doesn't even feel like a muscle. Without forgetting the Vigero ZX, that stands out for its maximum speed with or without HOW upgrade. Now we go to the auto shop to see the tuned cars, of which I recommend the Vector for circuits that require surgical precision, and the Calico, which is a beast in straights, pursuits, and drag races. For drifting, the Jester RR slides like butter, accompanied by its classic version, which is also a plus in any collection. In drag races, along with the Calico, the Coquette D10 and the Gauntlet Hellfire are unbeatable, each in its category. And with respect to the coupes, we choose the Honest Euros X32. And from the compacts, the Brioso RA, both with HOW upgrade. Besides the sedan Shafter V12, same as our friend Tony Prince. And with this, we move to the Bikers Club to recommend the mythical Hakuchu Drag with HOW upgrade. It is a motorcycle that we must not miss. And without HOW upgrade, the Shotaro with a futuristic design and great performance. Besides the Power Surge with incredible speed and possibility of making wheelies, although somewhat sensitive to hits. Also for off-road, the BF400, we can get it for a quite reasonable price. And now we continue with the maritime vehicles. In this case, even though we can only choose stock, we still recommend a few, starting with the Speeder. This boat is ideal in races with very tight sections and to get used to water handling. Then there is the Longfin. At being so fast, it requires some practice to master it, especially in rivers and narrow places. Still, it is worth choosing. The Sea Shark. It is recommended only when the race requires it, since it is not as fast as the boats. But we also have the Blazer Aqua, and since it's amphibious, we can indeed upgrade its performance at Los Santos Customs. Plus, it will be very useful in some transformation races. And last but not least, we have the air vehicles. As we know, that it is necessary to have a hangar to store and customize certain aircraft, with Charlie's help in the workshop. That said, let's see some machines that stand out in the air. Starting with the F-160 Raiju. This is a jet that impresses not only for its incredible speed, but also for the reinforced armor. Compared with others, it resists better certain impacts and hits, like in this case of having flown with another plane. It is almost certain they would have destroyed us. Also, thanks to its excellent handling, it allows us to cross the city in the middle of the buildings. This can also be very useful in public sessions, and if we add characteristics like stealth mode, we have material for another video. Continuing with the planes, we have the Howard NX-25. When comparing it with a diversity of planes, we will see that all of them are left behind, leading from the beginning until moving completely away. Also, for its great agility, we will be able to perform all kinds of aerial maneuvers. Now let's see some vehicles that will be especially useful in transform races. One of them being the P-45 Nakota. It is a fighter-type plane, but classic-like from World War II. It can be maneuvered very well, and we will notice how we can take much advantage when having it upgraded. Also, as a combat plane, it is excellent since it fires bursts of missiles without reload time. Another one worth having is the Havoc. This mini helicopter appears in many races and will help us move through narrow places without losing speed. Finally, we have the V-65 Molotov, another classic combat plane, but Soviet style. Being a jet, it combines very well agility and speed. Thanks to that, we can separate ourselves easily from the rest when having it upgraded. And now, as we mentioned at the beginning, we arrive to the bonus. With something that many underestimate, but that actually can be the hardest. And it is the winning attitude. Let's remember that we all start as beginners and that in the races, some crashes can happen without bad intentions. So the best is not to take it personal in those cases. Although, of course, there will also be other players who really want to ruin our race, capable of waiting for us a whole lap to try to block our way. The key is to open our way and overcome the obstacles. Knowing how to control our nerves with a cold mind and making an effort to keep our eyes on the finish line. Since in races, every second counts and we cannot waste time being like them. Even so, if they take us out of the track and overtake us in the worst way, it will be vital to master our character, besides concentrating, trusting that we are good drivers. And taking our skills to the maximum, the best revenge will be to win the races. So thank you very much for staying until the end, and we hope these tips help you make a difference. Although one thing is racing, but the jungle in the free world is quite another. So subscribe to this new channel not to miss the next video about how to deal against griefers.